Last time on Final Fantasy III, Dashk had to repair this tower by going into lava for some reason, but thanks to that, now we can access an entire 2 more locations, one of which is optional, so we're going to be going for that one first. And right off the bat, we have a random encounter with the Sea Serpent, which, of course, is a reskin of the Nepto Dragon that, well, I'd say fight, but it kinda wiped the floor with us. This guy's actually a bit nerfed from the NES version, though. He actually appeared later on in the game in an area that I don't want to spoil, but yeah, in that version of the game he appears later on, so that's why he's slightly more powerful in that version, but he's not really difficult to deal with in either version. Of course, the one problem is he can attack twice, like most bosses can, despite the fact that he's a normal enemy, so do watch out for that, but other than that, yeah, he's fairly easy, and oh, 2 more enemies. Neither of them are really all that interesting. Stats not amazing, they don't have any special abilities, and of course, like all ocean enemies, they are weak to thunder. Now, I would like to point out one thing for Mermaid, and that's the fact that the wiki's other information for Mermaid is quite vast. That doesn't really matter all that much. I guess the mermaids are just good at getting hits in, but I just found that funny for some reason. Other information, quite fast. Just that, nothing else. That's the only information. 2 words, period, the end. Right, that should be the only interruption, or the last interruption, rather, before we get to this new town. Which, as I said before, is optional, and I mean, we could go to the place we're supposed to for story progression, but why would we do that? You gotta do the optional stuff first. This is the town of Gyasl, which I always pronounce Gyashol for some reason. If you're familiar with Final Fantasy, you might know this town's name from a certain item that appears fairly frequently. Also, this cutscene's great. Come on back here, you dumb sheep. Great cutscene. God, sheep herding is just so difficult. I mean, it's like anybody else's job. It's like taking calls or something, but with sheep instead of people. I mean, come on. Work hard on this. Alright, I don't like Toad or Minnie. Break and Shade, not really that useful. And honestly, the white magic isn't very useful either, so not really spells I'd recommend other than just filling out the spell list, which, to be fair, is very important. I mean, come on. You can't just look at a spell list and go, yeah, there's an empty slot here, but I'm fine with that, right? I mean, we're all somewhat pseudo-OCD, right? Yeah, we're not actually going to be doing that. So, by using these items, the Gyasl Greens, we can summon Fat Chocobo in forests, and certain other locations, but he will be appearing later on without us really needing to do anything, so we'll get to him when we get to him, but he's really not useful in the DS version of Final Fantasy III. Maybe in the NES version, but not here. Gyasl Greens are often used as some sort of Chocobo-related item in the Final Fantasy series. They're generally Chocobo's favorite food. And you can usually summon, like, Chocobos or something like that. Like, it's an important part of breeding Chocobos in Final Fantasy VII, I think. I say I think because I never actually do that side quest, but I'm pretty sure it is. I always just skip over the Midgar Zalem anyway, you know, there's that, like, one trick where you can stand, like, on the land that's closest to the other landmass and just cross over and then avoid that big ol' snake altogether without having to buy a Chocobo, or buy Gyasl Greens, then go find a Chocobo with a Chocobo. It's all just a big waste of time, and I'm getting way sidetracked. Now, the important thing here, of course, is the letter, but first we might as well look at the items and, And I don't think we can actually talk to that guy. Oh, I guess that lady told us what the Fat Chocobo does, but he is the item storage of this game. But again, I'm not going to see him for quite a while. Oh man, look at her go. Yep, you sure are dancing. Did you just wake up or something? 'Cause you seem kind of, I don't know, stiff? Slow? I don't know. Not moving too fast, lady. You're not even moving like you mean it. Come on. Anyway, yeah, as I thought, can't really talk to this guy for some reason. Maybe we're just too young and he's selling alcohol? Maybe that's it. And it's not like the usual bartender NPC dialogue in games where it's like, hey, you're too young to be drinking beer, get out of here. He just flat out refuses to speak to us. Oh boy, Hierophant Green's the only item here, and the other magic shop has a magic key. Well, I mean more than one, but that's the only item there, so don't really need to come here to buy items, so yeah, it's Hierophant. That sure was a town, alright. Honestly, there's not really much of a reason to even come out here, other than letter doing, of course. I mean, I could do this anywhere, but might as well do it here, I guess. Yeah, I think I've got a bit of advice for Topapa. I think I know what the problem here is. So let's go send him a bit of mail. Yeah, that definitely addresses a few concerns I have. That looks good to send. Let's do it. Alright. So that'll go to Topapa, he'll read the letter, send one back, I'll get it from the Moogle, and then I'll respond again. And I think that'll actually be the last letter from Topapa, so... Oh boy, we're almost done with this quest. Can't wait to get this one done. And of course, now we have to sail all the way back to the Isle of the Dwarves, because that's where we're supposed to go. We were told by Desh that that's where we'd need to go next. We don't even know why, it just is. Go where the dwarves live, because that's where a story happens. Of course, it's all the way on the other side of the sky continent. Oh boy, enemies that really aren't threatening at all. Although, the weird thing is, they have the ability to cast fire, I think? So yeah, it's gonna be a regular fish fry in here, except it's not a regular fish fry, because normally you fry the fish rather than the other way around. No, this fish just lit me on fire. Thankfully, his magic stat isn't very high, so it's not really doing any damage to us. Which is good, because, you know, magic can potentially be dangerous, it's just not here. And these are weak enemies, so... Oh, wait, no, didn't finish them off. Sigh! Thanks, Dante, for not killing that fish. Come on, Dante, you can do it. There we go. Had everyone else defend because it was Dante's responsibility to finish that fight. He failed the first time, so he wasn't gonna fail the second time. Lest somebody get smacked to death by a fish. It would take a long time to do that, but if Dante didn't kill the fish, it would have to happen just to teach him a lesson. Now the nice thing is, you can actually see a map on the top screen. I mean, you can't right now because I cut that out, but I know where I'm going, which is good because I don't have to check a map every few seconds. I mean, ocean travel takes long enough as it is. Don't want to see me checking a map like I did in Final Fantasies 1 and 2. Yeah. Not just a few steps into the Dwarves' Cave, and already they have a problem, which that guy won't tell us about. You know, he's happy to tell us there is a problem, but not what it actually is, and no. Guess I could have talked to that Moogle. Alright, so something about a horn, right? You want to tell me what's going on, dude? Dwarf dude? Is it really a good idea to corner yourself? Like, the exit was not very far to our right. He could have just left the island. Though then again, I guess he doesn't have a boat, but really, I don't know what he was planning here. Well, we can't actually get to that horn because there's a barrier there. We could go after Gutsco right now, but we need to talk to the rest of the dwarves first. We gotta explore and talk around, because if we don't do that, well, we'd be making progress or something, and we can't have that. I like talking to NPCs. Just, you know, get as much dialogue as I can. It was put in the game for a reason. Well, in this case, it's more for the reason of directing the player, and I don't need to know what my jobs do. I've talked to old men like you before. Though there may be a reason that this particular guy is right here, I'm just gonna throw that out there. It's been a little while since we've had a job explanation, dude. Wonder if there is a reason, ho-hum, ho-hum. Alright, what do we got for items around here? Well, more than Gysahl greens, or just one magic key. Definitely want to buy mallets, by the way, just, gonna say that now. One mallet ain't gonna cut it. Want to buy as many as I can. That's probably overkill, but you know what? Overkill is better than underkill, because underkill isn't even a thing. I don't think I've ever heard someone use that word. Technically speaking, it's probably not even a word. Gee, that sure was a great nap. Hopefully that Gutsco guy hasn't gone anywhere. But hey, we needed to sleep off the minimal damage caused to us by fish. Actually, was it just the fish? No, the seahorse and mermaid must have done something in their battles. Don't think the sea serpent did anything, because we never actually got to see him attack twice. And I don't know how rare an enemy he is, but I don't really see him too often. Ice staff, just throwing that out there, but you might want to buy one of those at some point if you don't already have one. But I already have the elemental staves because they are ever so useful for a black mage, so I don't have to constantly cast my own magic and lose MP from my MP pool, because that's ever so valuable. And what do we got in terms of weapon or armor? Yeah, we were just at the weapon shop. Silly me. Alright, I think most of this stuff is stuff we've seen before, but that ice armor, yeah, you might also want that. I am subtly hinting things, but it will be a little while before we actually need that stuff, so you don't have to buy it immediately, so don't think you just have to sit down and grind, because you'll need it or you'll die in the next dungeon or anything. Oh yeah? Well, after I check for secret passages, let's just see what you got here. What's your defense? I bet I can just walk right in and take all this up. Oh, there's a rock here. It's a big rock. Well, I'm thwarted. Good job, dwarves. You've actually stopped me from taking treasure. I must admit, I'm rather impressed. You guys are pretty good, and no secret passage right there. Well, I can't believe I'm saying this, but guess we gotta skip that treasure. Oh well. Guess we'll just move on and see if we can fight Gutsco and maybe get the treasure the legitimate way. By actually helping these people. Oh, don't worry, Ayla. It'll just be for a few seconds. Because next time on Final Fantasy III, we're going to transform into Toad so we can jump in that lake, so we can transform back into our human forms, so that we can then go hunt down that Gutsco guy.